Hi guys, Mew2King, and today we're going to be doing a tier list video of all the characters again. It's been a few months since my last one, so now I'm going to try again. This is going to be a combination of my opinion, Sam's opinion, results we've looked up, and theorycraft, you know, a combination of everything based on what we currently know and our own opinions. So, as usual, I'm going to start now. So, right now, I have the bottom tier right now as doesn't get good results, because that might be one good way to look at it. Little Mac I still have at the bottom, because obviously the character's not very good. Some characters people think he's better. I remember one of the Japanese players said they thought Little Mac might be as high as mid-tier. So maybe I'm completely wrong on this. Maybe Little Mac's much better than I'm saying. Maybe he's not the worst. Maybe he's significantly better than this. Not sure. Maybe they know something I don't. So, as I said, I have him the worst, but he could be much better than that. I'm not really sure. But yeah, standard stuff you probably already know by now. Next I have Isabelle. Isabelle's done like one thing ever. Beat a snake once in a 2 or 3. Okay, that's like the only thing that's ever happened ever. If there's more, let me know. I don't claim to be an expert on this, but I definitely know she's one of the below average characters. Next, Kirby. Kirby I used to be the worst, but I think his buffs made some nice help. His neutral B's faster, his up air's faster, his nair's faster. The nair and up air used to be frame 10, now nair and up air both frame 8. Neutral B's quite a bit faster, like... He's just got some nice quality of life buffs across the board. He's definitely better than before. I don't think he's significantly better than before. I still think he's one of the lesser good characters. But it's definitely, like, if you used to play Kirby and you were annoyed, he should definitely have some better results than he did in the past. So that's nice. After that, I would have Incineroar. I still think Incineroar is really bad. I feel like I'm carrying the character really hard. And I feel like the character just has limitations. This is for singles, by the way. I want to note that doubles, he gets, I think he's a high tier character in doubles. But in singles, endgame meta, where people are going to camp and timeout, if you're threatening camping and timing out, and you're trying to your hardest to win in $1 million turn or whatever, keeping all that in mind, he just doesn't seem that good. And the buffs he got, while nice, like nice quality life buff, it's just not that important at the end of the day. Like getting the knockback chains, the knockback growth chains, so forward air kills better. Something like that would be nice, because you know you kill forward air a lot. You kill if neutral B a lot. You kill if the fire punch, the side B move a lot. You kill if the throws a lot. Like there's a lot. You kill if neutral air a lot. Like these moves you're killing with a lot. Those moves having better knockback growth would have been, in my opinion, what he needed the most. He did get a nice buff on counter though. Counter is 9 frames better overall. 5 frames lasting longer, ending on frame 27 instead of 22, and 4 frames less total time. So 9 frames better split up between 5 and 4 in 2 different ways. So that is a nice buff. That's especially useful in doubles, but it's not like it's that important. Like, it's rarely a situation where it's like, oh, that's going to be the game changer when it wouldn't have before, you know? Like, you still can just throw him or do 35 damage to him, and then he loses it. He's still pretty bad. Next, we have the pits. I actually don't think the pits are that bad. It's just that the best pit, Earth, hasn't been playing the game. And that's probably a big factor as to why I put Pit that low. At the end of the day, it's true that he doesn't have results. And it's really hard to argue him much higher when he doesn't do anything. But again, without Earth playing, it's hard to see the true potential of the character. I think if Earth came back and played seriously, you would see that the character's a lot better than this. That's just my opinion. And Dark Pit, Sam and me think might be better, but you know maybe the arrows of Pit are better. We don't know. I just have them together because it's debatable because they're both a little better and worse at certain stuff. Like the Pit has better arrows that you can aim better, and Dark Pit has stronger arrows and a side B that kills sooner into the side and stuff. Next I have Jigglypuff. Yes, I don't think she's high tier. I still think she's bottom 10. She does have, now everyone's gonna say, okay, her short hop dare it auto cancels, and the short hop dare has less landing lag. And the majority of the time you land it at specific percents, like around 60, 70, you can combo it into rest. The amount of times... Now, I want to say that doing this online, doing a lot of puffs, combos, pounds, online stuff against random people, in my opinion, is a lot easier than doing it to someone like Salem, who's just going to space you out the entire time, or people who've learned the matchup. So I've played people like Wizrobe, Dark Wizzy, Salem, and I've also played people a lot online. And when I'm playing online, a lot of the time, unless they're projectile camping me with lag, I feel like I can just do style on them with any combos, any fancy stuff I want. But then when I'm playing a good player in person who's just camping me perfectly the entire time, the experience is like a 180. So I feel like that's a very big factor. Puff is a character, in my opinion, who's better online. That you can, especially with Pound. Before Pound wouldn't combo at 0. Now, if you hit pound, not even Yoshi and Mario can nair you back. Jigglypuff's pound still true combos into Puff's aerial with at 0% before Yoshi and Mario can hit him back. She probably beats characters like Little Mac or characters who just can't recover well, because if you forward throw them off, you can like limit options and do 50-50s and stuff, because they don't have as many options to work with. She could be good in those scenarios, but she's not really going to kill without... Her grabs don't even kill at 200. Like, you can just avoid specific moves and stuff. If you actually have experience against Puff, which no one is, you see the limitations. I used to think she was better, but again, like Incineroar, I think she's a character who's a lot better in doubles, and that's my opinion. After this, I would have to say probably Dr. Mario is next. So, I'm not even sure if Doc's... I mean, I guess that's a repeating theme. I'm not sure if X character is that bad, because everyone has, like, some character doing stuff. But I think I talked to Sam a bit. I'm like, hey, what are the best Docs? And he said Louis Money. I'm like, okay, so does Louis Money usually... Does Doc usually save him in a set when he was otherwise going to lose if it's other character? And he's like, well, not really. So it's like, the best Doc is probably someone who doesn't really, like, use him that seriously. I could be misinformed. If I'm misinformed, you know, you can free to tell me. But he's basically, for the most part, besides a very strong up at a shield, there's little reason to use Doc over Mario. That might be one of the reasons that he doesn't get many results. People who are skilled with Mario and Doc, if you're good at one, you're most likely good at the other, probably. But I feel like he has like Incineroar running speed and a recovery that's worse than Incineroar. And when you move the same speed as Incineroar and you have an even worse recovery, it's hard to imagine the character's that amazing. I think the character's good in doubles, though. Like, in doubles, having a good at a shield, since you're always up close, a good at a shield is really useful. And when Doc, you touch his shield, just up B, bam, tons of damage, kills fast. Down B, Tornado, kills fast. If you miss, not a big deal. After that, I would say probably Corrin's after that. Another instance of, is that character really that bad? Well, it's more like a lot of people who were really good with Corrin, they just use better characters. Like Cosmo uses Corrin and Inkling, but he's already so skilled with Corrin, so yeah, he can make Corrin work because he used them so much in the last game. But isn't he just carrying the character with his skill at that point? Because like he used to get really good results in Smash 4 near the last year or two in Smash 4 with Corrin, showing that he was obviously a good player. But then he has almost no reason to switch off Inkling from Corrin nowadays. And the other best Corrin is most likely MK Leo, to be honest. But Leo has said that he doesn't think Corrin's even bad. But at the same time, it's like, can I really justify putting the character that high when there's no results? And I have to factor that in too. And it's like, not really sure. Don't take this bottom tier too seriously. This is more of a, this doesn't get good results type of thing. Like, none of them do exceptional in tournaments. And a big factor is the reasons I said, like, there's usually a better option. Like, there's a Mario instead of a Doc. Or there's, like, for Cosmo's case, there's, like, an Inkling instead of a Corrin and stuff. Like, there's usually a better result, and then, like, pits don't have their best representation from Brawl and Smash 4, for example, like Earth, you know, stuff like that. Okay, so now the below average, the low tiers. I will first have Lucario, and the reason is because I do actually think Lucario can be pretty good in this game. However, the results of the character doesn't really reflect that. We rarely see that Lucarios do amazing in tournament. And that might be because, like, the Lucario players... Oh, well, and there's Zoo. Zoo's Lucario does do well. But I think he's, like, the only one. So, while I do think this character could be a lot higher, he's, like, inconsistent. Like, he could always win or lose. Now that I think about it more, maybe I should have just put him a lot higher. But, again, the results is literally just carried by Zoo. And it's really inconsistent at that. So that's why I have him in the low tier. Next, I'll have Bowser Jr., who many people used to thought, oh, maybe this is the worst character, but recently they're realizing that you could just up throw and spam up air, or just hit with a straight up air and do like a million up airs in a row and get major damage. And Bowser Jr.'s are doing better than before. In fact, even Dark Wizzy played Leon recently, the Bowser, and he lost twice with Bowser, and then he used Bowser Jr. and took a turn match off him, which, you know, that's... his Bowser Jr. is obviously not nearly as skilled as his Bowser, but he still did better with Bowser Jr., for example. Next, I have Mewtwo, and this is pretty much because his tail hurtbox gets him screwed, and he can't land. And the fact that he can't land and his tail hurtbox gets him screwed is a very big factor. Please don't bring up the fact that Leo wins with Mewtwo, because Leo's Leo, and he's just going to win no matter what, because he's the best player easily, and I've been saying this all year, but whatever. So all the Mewtwo's have pretty much dropped him, like, because it just... Waddy, there's like no reason to use Mewtwo when there's Rob. Leo just uses him as a joke because he's just bored and he's too good anyway, and he's just going to win for anyone anyway. So counting those for what they're worth, and then the fact that other Mewtwo's haven't really been doing anything, it's hard to justify being better than a lot of the other characters that are going to be ranked above him. After that, I'll mention Meta Knight. I still think Meta Knight has a lot of moves that don't quite work properly. And I think that inconsistency can be kind of annoying. He's very good at edge guarding, and he has pretty decent neutral. A lot of times, the up B just either won't kill or it will miss. That could be kind of annoying. He has a good jab, good running speed, and great recovery. So it is possible that he could be at like the top part of low tier. But until more people start using him and he gets more results, I'm not so sure. I've never really heard of like, wow, a Meta Knight made a super amazing, crazy upset. Like, I don't really hear that stuff very often. Next, I'll have Villager. Villager is basically better Isabelle at the... I've thought of this for quite a while, and Villager's tree is just a lot better than Isabelle's down B. And Villager's side B, the little missile, is a lot better than the fishing pole, in my opinion, because you can just use it to approach. Also, Villager has a frame 3 nair instead of a frame 5 nair, which I think having a faster out of shield is pretty good. Like a 2-frame faster nair to shield, I find that pretty useful. Just across the board, it's like quality of life buffs across Isabelle. Like the stuff that's better about him is more important than the stuff that Isabelle's better at. So yeah, and I think there was a decent. There's been I think it's kept or someone. Someone was telling me that it's done decently. So it's some decent results, not the worst. Next I have DK. I had DK lower, but then a DK player upset Ken this weekend. I beat him like 2-1 last stock. He grabbed him at 50% on Town City, full hop to the platform, and then did a buffered jump off that platform and an up throw up air and killed him at like 50% when he had high rage on Town City against Sonic. And that's the high ceiling. I mean, it is on a platform, but it's also the high ceiling in addition to that. So it's like, oh yeah, DK still has that. So it's like, the fact that Ken lost the set to DK is a pretty big deal. K-Rool's having some decent results. Like, Tweak took a turn match off Goblin. K-Rool won in Australia. There's another instance where K-Rool did good at Congo Saga and did some clips you probably saw on Twitter already with like the back air to up air and stuff. He's not the worst. You know, people used to think he's bottom tier, the worst character in the game. Maybe not. Maybe he's not that bad. And he did get buffed, so he's probably low tier now. Next is Piranha Plant, who low-key might even be better in this, but I mean, I guess I say it all the time, so it doesn't really mean much. But the character did get buffed since the first time he was released. He's very good against characters who want to jump in on him. Like, I was fighting a Piranha Plant player with Bowser, and I was struggling like a few months ago because I keep jumping at the Piranha Plant, and I would go in with like a landing aerial or landing side B or whatever, just landing something. And the Piranha Plant would just press the B button, and I would get hit with the spike ball, and then the things would go bad after that moment. Plant's really good at playing the long game. If you don't want to play the long game back, that can be annoying. You pretty much, if the Plant plays the long game and you try to rush at him, but you're not a character that can rush down fast like Fox or something, it might be kind of annoying to try to get him. Next I have Cloud, who I actually think is worse than this, but if I put him, but he has some results because of people like Spargo, who even complains about how bad the character is anyway. So I don't know what people talk about, but yeah, this character I think is still bad. Definitely low tier. I know I think all the Clouds think he's bad and either dropped him or complained about him because it's not actually good. But yeah, he definitely needs some improvements because his side B, if you hit them with rage, they can literally just fall out of it. Like there's an instance where Spargo was fighting Meister in tournament, like winners finals or grand finals or something. Spargo won neutral with the side B, and while he was in the combo, the game watch, Meister popped out, landed, grabbed him during the side B lag, just because the move doesn't work, and then just down through 9'd him, and I was like, wow, you died for winning neutral. Cross up B is really good on like Battlefield, because like you just up B and then land, and even if you miss, you can get good damage if you hit, but even if you miss, there's minimal time to punish. Next I'll have Sheik. Sheik, if you play only Wi-Fi or only play your friends, you're probably gonna think she's the worst character in the game. But if you play good people offline, you might have a different opinion. I think offline, her endgame meta is like an average character, but factoring in like lack of use, like and all the other things, then I'll probably average it out and say she's low tier. Void had some good results of her. Void has like inconsistent results since the Pichu nerfs, but like one of the characters he did good results with was Sheik. Now obviously one of the reasons for that is because obviously he used Sheik in the last game, but there also were instances where Void and Mr. R were talking on Twitter a few months ago about how they both think Sheik's a high tier character. I'm not gonna do that until like results reflect it, or at least get closer to that. But she's certainly not a bottom tier either. Next I have the Mii Brawler, and I'm not an expert on the Mii's in terms of like knowing where they should be placed. I mean, I do play Mii Brawler myself, But there was a time I was like trying to decide, hey, should I really invest in Mii Brawler? Like there was a time I was actually considering investing more in Mii Brawler because you know I'm considering a lot of characters, but I never really liked the best characters. But then it was at the end of the day, it was just like the reward for like certain things isn't as much as I was hoping. Like he has a good up B at a shield. Like there's several up Bs he has where he can like up B at a shield, for example. But it's like it doesn't really kill as early as you'd hope. Like you might as well just like do the same thing with like Roy or someone else with a like Game & Watch, or just someone else with an up B that's like more reliable or he's gonna kill soon anyway. Next after that I have Bayonetta, and me and Sam talked about this. We definitely think Bayo is better than Cloud in this game, but she's also like she's more of a counter pick character. Like she still struggles at a lot of stuff. She's pretty good at anti-airing characters because a lot of her moves anti-air. She still can't be edge guarded. She still destroys bad recoveries pretty badly, and you still combo the crap out of big characters. Like I've been 0 to death by Bayo's before, like with my Bowser. Like Salem's 0 to death my Bowser before. I still think Bayo like destroys characters like Bowser at optimal level, but Bowser's still a better character overall because of all the matchup spreads. She's really good against characters who can't recover and get comboed hard. Kind of similar to Jigglypuff, except she's a better version of Jigglypuff. Next I'll have Ganon, who I actually think is better than this, but no one else believes me, so I kind of compromised the opinion, and I'll put him like the top of low tier. I think Ganon's actually pretty underrated in this game. I could see why a lot of people don't think he's that great because, you know, the recovery and whatnot. But he has pretty good hitboxes. He's pretty strong, and I think he has a decent place in the meta versus certain characters. So I could elaborate on that. Certain characters, like if he's fighting like a Lucina or like someone who's gonna edge guard him, yeah, his recovery is gonna be exploited. But if you're fighting like a Fox, for example, which is probably one of the reasons Nairo tried Ganon against Light's Fox, the time he was successful, by the way. I think he won 3 straight with Ganon. Fox has a weakness where he's not very good at edge guarding. Like, it can be risky to try to edge guard with him. So what he does is usually just hits him off. He either kills with up smash or something that leads to up smash, or like a ledge trap into smashes. He's not very good at exploiting the recovery. A lot of characters are like that, actually. That they're not amazing at the Gimp. Characters who aren't amazing at the Gimp, I think Ganon can fight better, because his weakness doesn't matter as much. Next, I'll have Marth. Now, everyone's going to be like, oh, no, Marth's average. But, yeah, I'm not buying it, man. The tippers are not common enough for me to justify him even being in the 50th percentile. I don't even think he's the exact median of the tier list. I think the tippers aren't common enough for it to be worth it. Even Leo, who was, like, the best Marth, he was trying really hard to be, like, optimistic. Okay, Marth maybe could be better than Lucina. I'm going to keep trying Marth. And then he goes back to Lucina or literally any other character, and he's, wow, suddenly better. Like, he's like, he just switches off Marth, who's probably his #1 or #2 most skilled character, and then it's like, oh, I get results easier because the other characters are better. After that, on the average level, I have Ryu. So I was talking to Sam about this, who knows a lot about the Street Fighter characters. He said that Ryu is basically worse than Ken overall by a pretty hefty margin. Like, the speed differences, like the KO power is like in a turret setting is kind of similar, even though Ryu's supposed to be stronger. And the speed difference makes quite a big difference. And he said that there's almost no reason to use Ryu over Ken. And that's why almost all top players are using Ken or Terry. Next, I'll have Ike. Ike fell off hard after Leo stopped, showing that he was probably just carrying the character. Leo was either a top 1/top 2 in the world using Ike or Ike/Lucina main. And when he stopped, the characters kept falling off hard. Like, there's other good Ikes, but they don't dominate the they don't dominate turns and get top 8s like Leo used to. But I don't think he's like bad either. I think he's like Ike's still okay. Ridley's better than I thought before. I still think with the big body and that recovery, like, he kind of relies on like that air dodge to the ledge. He has the best like air dodge to ledge in the game. But being a big body and not as heavy as you should be still is a big factor. Optimistically, the bottom of mid-tier. Next, we'll have the Mii Swordfighter. I think they're the second best Miis, personally. Although, there's an argument for being better than the Gunner. I personally think that they're second best Miis. You have that Link up B. You can up B at a shield. It's pretty strong. You could do Tornado to the up B. You also have a Chakram, like the little thing you throw, the little circle thing you throw. That could be good for hitting people for edge guards. It could be useful in neutral. It could be useful to snipe people's jump from a distance. And it can be useful for ledge trapping. You just throw it and they'll let it hover there for a bit. One of the things that hold him back a bit is running speed. He's not that fast, but he has a lot of safe pokes. Like his down tilt is like a melee Roy down tilt. It like pops you up in the air. It's a really, really good move. This character might even be higher in the future. Like I could see this character actually going up in the future. And next I'll have Lucas. Lucas does not have nearly the results of Ness, but me and Salem thinks that the character is comparable to Ness, just with much less current results. Salem told me that he was a pretty decent Lucas player that does decent results, so he thinks the character could be pretty. He actually thinks Lucas is an above-average character, but with below-average results. So compromising that information, I'll put him like the lower end of mid tier. Next, I'll talk about Wii Fit. Wii Fit's power-up move, where so basically Wii Fit never has to really approach, like usually, because the longer she camps, the longer she absorbs two damage back at a time while powering herself up. Like she can power up her Sun attack, the neutral B, and she can gain like 2 health back while doing it, and she can also camp off stage or just far away with the her down B attack, and then power herself up. I called her limit attack. She can use these moves to power herself up, make her a better version of herself, while also being stronger. This basically means that you have to approach her. It's in your best interest to approach her. But that also means that she can play around knowing that you're going to approach her, which gives her the advantage in neutral. These are important in singles. So she always has that advantage in singles, especially if she gets the lead and threatens timeouts and stuff. So for Cat and Falcon, I'd say Fatality and Nick C pretty much carry the character for the most part. The character is really good at killing recoveries that suck. Like if you're fighting Incineroar and he has to side B or up B, you could just back air down it and just kill him immediately. But if you're actually fighting a good character that can recover, good luck getting this stuff very often. And then, I don't know, man. It just feels like he's just there to gimp bad recoveries. Then next we have Rosalina. This is another instance where I think the character is a little carried by Dabuz. But at the same time, Dabuz has beaten like Light and other good players with Rosalina. And these are all like top players in the world. And if the character is that bad, then he wouldn't be winning those matches and sets. So you have to consider that too. Next off, Dedede. The best Dedede player lives in Japan. Zaki, I believe his name is. And he's really, really good. And certain characters are really bad at dealing with Gordos. Like if you're using a big body character, good luck getting off the ledge while he bounces that Gordo. Even if you guess right, the risk reward kind of sucks, since if you're a big body, it's like hard to avoid. And then certain moves, like for example, Bowser's Fire Breath. In the Bowser vs. Dedede matchup, Bowser can't get off the ledge, and then in neutral, it's difficult for him to hit back the Gordos, because a lot of the time it'll like trade with him, which sucks. And other times, like if you Fire Breath, it will just go through the Fire Breath the whole time. Next we'll have Robin. Robin got some buffs recently, but even before them, I thought the character was a little underrated. It's like he still has the Fireball. The Fireball goes further now, the L-Fire. It goes further than it did before. That's pretty nice. I don't know if it matters that much, but it's nice. You can pretty much just camp with the Fire till you run out, and camp with the Thunder till you run out, and then run away, and then get the Levin Sword, and then camp, and then rinse, repeat. As long as you play a patient style, tactical and patient, then it's kind of like Fire Emblem, then Robin could be pretty good. Next, after that, I'll have the Ice Climbers. Ice is a very interesting case because the Nana AI is so bad in this game. But at the same time, they could just grab you or hit you once and do like 70 damage and frame trap for ledge guarding and stuff. I think even Wishes believes in the character enough to use him as like a secondary or in addition to like Pokemon Trainer and Joker and Icy's into his lineup. It's just that the Nana AI is so bad that it makes the character kind of inconsistent. But the character has a possibly the strongest punish game in the game. Not nearly as bad as Melee and Brawl, where it just kills you in one hit and it's stupid and boring and lame and broken. But now it's more balanced because it doesn't just kill you in one hit. Well, they can, but it takes more skill. But I think as the meta goes on, they're going to find more ways to optimize the consistency and peak skill of the Ices. I think the character is going to eventually become high tier one day. Next, I'll have the Mii Gunner. In my personal opinion, the best of the Gunners. You have so much tools for ledge trapping. I'm sure you've all seen that video where the Mii Gunner just ledge traps the King K. Rool over and over and over, and the King K. Rool can't do anything because they have so many projectiles. You can like reflect things back. You have like counters and things you can absorb just for down Bs. And then you have these missiles and the energy blasts and the bombs. So many different types of, like, there's bombs, and you have forward smash, which lingers forever. Can catch normal stand or ledge jumps and stuff. Depending on which up B you use, you can either get a really good recovery or a really good up B at a shield. So this character, in my opinion, has the most tools of all the Miis. I think this character was going to get better with time, unfortunately, because they're so lame. But that's his playstyle, in my opinion. Seriously, though, the character has a lot of zoning tools, and I actually believe the character will possibly get even better in the future. Next, I have Hero. Now, at first, I thought, okay, Hero's is high tier. But now I'm like, you know, it's actually just Salem just carrying the character. When you take Salem out of the equation, Heroes just don't do anything. You have to be, like, super campy with Hero. And you could mash and stuff, but then you have the mercy of luck. Like, you already know that the character's, like, inconsistent because, like, the menu, and that's like the big part of the character. You could just get what you want or don't want immediately. You can mash, and great results or horrendous results could happen. It's inconsistent. Salem uses them against a lot of Japanese players, not because of the language, which is a huge misconception. It is actually because it's to counter the other projectiles. Like when Pac-Mans and Snakes and like all these other characters are setting up their traps, Hero has time to analyze, to jump to platform while looking at the menu and decide what you want. Salem's really skilled at doing that. Next I have Banjo. I used to think this character is amazing, and I still think the character might be high tier, potentially even top tier, but the results have not reflected that. The results have shown that the people who picked up Banjo, besides Tweak, because Tweak's ridiculous, they haven't done better than before picking up Banjo. And while I do think Banjo's highest potential could be higher top tier, probably like the top of high tier, for example, results have not reflected that. So I feel it feels wrong to put him higher, only for that reason. Next, I'll have Falco. Falco's very good at specific matchups. Falco's very good against big bodies. If Falco's fighting like a big target, you could pretty much air wobble him to death. And he can't really do much about it. There's a lot of characters who Falco only needs like 1 or 2 hits. Like, just get one good up tilt or up air. You could string him to death with more up tilts and up airs. Finish it off a back air. Or you could also do like drag down fair combos too. And you could just do a giant combo. And Falco pretty much relies on this combo over and over and over. You can out-camp people who try to camp you by using your laser to get annoying little damage on them, while also having a reflector. So while Falco's not overwhelming in like neutral stuff, like out of shield and all that, you can out-camp people neutral with B and neutral B, with his reflector and his laser. And you can do giant combos, and you can edge guard. These are very important traits to have. He actually might be a high-tier character. Next, we'll have Sonic. So there was a bunch of Sonics that have done well. Another instance of they might be high tier. I'm not sure. Falco, Sonic, and Banjo, I'm all not sure if I should put them in mid. I'm really debating putting them in high. But Sonic, obviously, you know, Ken always gets good results. But there's also like Sunito and Raph have done well at DreamHack. I think they got like 7th and 9th or something. And Ken's always done good. So there's multiple different Sonics constantly getting results. Multiple different Sonics constantly getting results shows that the character is obviously at least decent. This character is at least average, if not above average. That's my opinions, and these are the bottom, low, and mid tiers. And the next video that will come out will be high tiers and top tiers. So thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. And please, if you hit the bell, that'll help me. If you share my video, this will help me. Even if you disagree with me, just do it anyway, please. And that'll be great. Thanks.